We are live. We are actually live. We can't just bring it out. Don't think that's happened. Officer. Please, you are holding guns and you are coming. No. Stand back from me, please. Bring it down.
Let them bring it down.
You are pushing against me. You can step back. Step back from me.
Just come down.
I'll drop my hand when you step back. Step back from me. Let go of it. 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 Let go of it.
What did I do? I also have my ID What did I do?
This is live and direct at Lekki toll gate for the remembrance of the 1 year anniversary of the ENDSARS shooting here in Lekki. And here we have a lot of youth. You can see them. They are moving to the Lekki toll gate at this moment. You can see a lot of these youths in their cars, motorcycles. You can see this is what's happening now at Lekki. At this moment, you can see people watching them as they go. This is Lekki at this moment. At this moment, they are going to face the police at this moment.
I'm a Uber guy. Please, my house. I didn't do anything. I'm a Uber guy. Go inside there. I didn't do anything. Uber, this my house. I didn't do anything. I'm a Uber guy. I'm in a let me go. Enter. They're not guy. No. I'm Uber guy. I don't tell anybody for the go. I don't tell anybody for the go. You carry body for nothing. I don't carry this man. I got please to leave my house.
They have crossed the Lekki toll gate at this moment. The police are watching them. You can see how the security agencies, they are watching. A lot of police vehicles are stationed at this place at this moment. You can see a lot of police vehicles stationed, and they promised to do that, and they have done it. They have remembered the fallen heroes.
And if you're just joining, you're watching Daybreak on Trust Television, and here we are taking a look at all the issues that happened, from the ENDSARS protest. Yesterday there was the 1 year anniversary of that protest, and just from the clips that you saw, a lot happened, something that looked more like a clampdown on protesters and all of that. And like I told you, we have in the studio Moses Paul, aka Dr. Matmo, in the studio, environmentalist and human rights activist, to talk to us about these recent happenings. Now, first, let's get your reaction on the 1 year anniversary of this protest. It's been 1 year. A lot of recommendations were made. Some we've seen it come to fruition. Some are yet to come to fruition. What does this, how do you respond to all that has happened recently over this?
It's still very pathetic and sad, and almost unbelievable that we're still living. This is 21st century Nigeria, and you can't even put to words that on this particular season a year ago, young people, Nigerians in their own fatherland, singing the national anthem, sitting on the road, were shot at and killed, without, and were killed, were dispersed, were murdered right in 21st century by their own leaders, soldiers, and people who should protect them. I mean, I speak to you with a deep sense of pain and agony, almost unbelievable that here we are and the narrative hasn't really changed. It's really sad. It's something that you wouldn't have believed that in my time that we will see, given where we have moved, you know, looking at the military era, and, you know, to have a democratically elected president in Nigeria, to see this happen, it's unbelievable, to say the least.
But investigations are now revealing that there is no evidence, you know, to this claim of massive killing of people, specifically at the Lekki toll gate. Even the army have reported that there was no petition leveled against the army, which is considered to be the ones, you know, who perpetrated this.
I mean, the narrative is consistent, and isn't that that is what makes it even much worse for present-day Nigeria. I mean, this is Nigeria where people don't even believe that COVID-19 exists. People don't even believe that as we sit here in this studio, that people like you and I are in the bush right now as we speak. People don't even believe. So why should Aunt Eel, until the son of Buhari, until the daughter of Osibanjo is in the bush, until it happens to us, we don't believe. Isn't it sad that this is what Nigeria has become, where black is white and white is black? Why should anybody believe? I mean, we are the most religious people. There are church and mosque everywhere. But yet, do you believe that they are stealing billions in this country? Do we believe? No, we don't believe. Did anybody die?
No, but this is investigation. This is, you know, investigation carried out, you know, by Daily Trust and, you know, some other parties that have revealed that there was no evidence. You know, several calls, you know, to submit evidence, to submit names of people that were, you know, killed in, you know, in this attack, you know, did not yield any, you know, result. It is
sad that, and I know where this is all going, as you know, because again we have a mass number of people who are not educated in this country, so to understand policies and governance can be very difficult. And I know the narrative they are driving, because when you use the word massacre, and this is what even makes it really deadly. We are 200 million people. So if you kill 10 people in Jos, or you kill 30 people, it's nothing. We have been reduced to just, we don't exist anymore as a people. So 12 people die, 15 people die, 10 people die. It does not. Why are you using the word massacre? This is the insanity that is going on in our country. So I understand that very much. With all the videos, with all the evidence that exists, with the people. I mean, I have friends of mine who have come out, but it doesn't matter, because they came and shot. What Nigerians expect is that if everyone on that field in Lekki Gate died, if there were blood everywhere and everybody is killed, then they can now say yes.
But don't you think massacre is quite a humongous word?
When you come to a people where there are thousands of people and you shoot sporadically, that's a massacre. The fact that a lot of people had gun bullets in their legs, in their arms, and they survived, and over 10 people died with records and videos, that does not mean that it is not a massacre. It is crazy that we are even towing this part. And it shows one thing very clearly, that the government hasn't learned anything at all. And this is why you know, the government of the day is setting the stage for the exact change that is required in this country. The more they keep towing this path, they are actually helping the resolve of the ENDSARS generation, you know, to continue in their own resolve to be able to bring the change that is required in this country. Because, like they say, our people, our leaders know they hear word. They know they hear word.
But are you concerned about the mayhem, you know, that followed the ENDSARS protest? A lot of people said, look, hoodlums hijacked the whole process. It defeated the whole, you know, essence of the process and all of that. Are you not concerned about that?
I am quite concerned, but what is even more, the danger there, and I'm happy that I can speak here, because I had to tell the people in Abuja to stand down when we saw clearly SUVs, you know, government-looking people brought in hoodlums And the narrative and the sequence hasn't changed ever. Every time we come out, you will see either politicians or government officials who, here in Berger, we caught some of the hoodlums, who gave the names of the people, who paid them to come and inflict us. So what are you talking about? Who is paying the hoodlums? And I'm saying it on my honor here, that we have record that shows that even with names of some of government officials who paid these people to come and cause this. So you come out and say, hoodlums. Who are the hoodlums? Who paid the hoodlums? Who are they working for? Consistently, for days and weeks, the ENDSARS people organize themselves. Never in the history of this country that people, young people, came out, they kept the traffic in order, picked after themselves. They were accountable, responsible, and then from nowhere, boom, hoodlums take over. Can we stop this madness going on, please?
So would you say we don't have, a positive atmosphere for peaceful protests in Nigeria?
Because, again, this 1 year later, we are talking. The government completely, you can see how they have become irrelevant in the context of, if they cannot, if I'm speaking the way I'm speaking, and 1 year later, they are still stopping us in Abuja, dispersing people in Lagos, it shows that the government hasn't learned anything, but does not have what it takes to even close the gaps. I mean, again and again, opportunities have been given. But again, it shows clearly you can't give what you don't have. It has shown clearly that this mindset of this crop of leaders that we have in 21st century cannot even close the gap, cannot interact, cannot hold meaningful conversations. I see what is on here, asking CNN and asking Amnesty International and asking that nothing happens. It shows that they don't have what it takes. And what it clearly also, the handwriting is that they have to give way. They have to go. That is what it clearly shows, that they are not abreast with reality.
Okay.
They're not even seeing what is coming.
Okay, many were of the opinion that the ENDSARS started as a protest, but it's now becoming like a form of a movement. Are you of that opinion as well?
It should be. I mean, idealistically, that is what you would expect. And for me, working on the grassroots, what we're doing, because I can tell you clearly here that the ENDSARS generation, this is the generation that can deal with the menace that we're having. Whether you're talking about Boko Haram, you're talking about the banditry and the ISWAP, they can meet them energy to energy. The people we're talking about holding people in the bush, look at the TVs and the news every day. They're between 20 and 35. The ENDSARS, that's the ENDSARS generation. The reason why the crop of government that we have today cannot deal with them is that, number one, they don't understand the energy. Number two, they don't understand the mindset. Number three, they can't deal with the ideology. It is the same way the government cannot deal with the banditry. They can't understand the ENDSARS generation. The ENDSARS generation, given a place in government, in 48 hours, you won't have any issue of all this nonsense going on in our bushes. And I can tell you that. So what we are working at and what we expect to see is this same energy converted into a mold that can bring forth the next governance. This is what is expected to be. This is what any right-thinking person, even in government, will expect.
So when you say ENDSARS generation, do we hope to see this same energy in 2023?
Absolutely. This is why you can see, irrespective of the warning, irrespective of what happened in Lagos, stopping us from even going to the NAS, they are still out. We're saying, you want to kill? Come kill us, we're here. This is what we're saying. It's a generation that is articulate, that understands what the narrative of the 21st century, that is objective, but much more than that, it's a fearless generation that wants the right thing done. And yes, come 2023, we want that same energy to hit every polling booth in this country so that we can have a 21st century Nigerian that is beyond tribe, beyond ethnic divide, beyond our political parties. We need a Nigerian president. We've never had one. This is what we expect. This is what is gearing up. This is the energy we want to see. come 2023?
One will say that, well, the demands, of the ENDSARS movement have been met. The SARS has been disbanded. Panels were set up to look into the issues that were raised by the ENDSARS protest. Isn't it time to let go? I mean, looking at the response of government.
I would say it is very rhetorical and very baseless and useless when you just change nomenclatures and think that something will happen. Is the reason why nothing, in quote, in this context is working in this country. Because it's rhetoric. It's just nomenclature. It's just what you call skin deep. It's religion. We're not dealing with the root cause. This is why, sitting here today, like I said, we're not even safe in Abuja. I mean, we have it on record. Have you ever seen the insanity we're living in, that the immigration officer will come out? Are we having this discussion to say that they gave bags of rice? This is a press conference. This is Nigerian government coming out to say we gave bag of rice to bandits so that we can save our life. In this same country, we have it in the news that 20 million was paid so that my president's jet will not be shut down. Are we truly having this discussion? So it's rhetoric. You say one thing, but we know it's plastic. We know it's nothing. It's just symptom window dressing. The root cause is still there. And this is where we're driving at. Because until that is done, we don't even have a future in this country.
How do we move on from here? Government will say we have a responsibility to ensure that there is law and order. We have a responsibility to uphold the rights of others who are not involved in this. How do we balance these two sides? How do we reconcile these two sides? On the one hand, we have people who are, who said, well, we are aggrieved. We do not like the way things are going, and so we are going to protest. On the other hand, there are those who do not necessarily think that there is anything wrong. And so both rights must be protected, and that's the position of government. And I'm not making a case, but, just talking about how do we ensure that there is balance, that everyone's right is protected, in this same country where we are.
I mean, opportunities 1 year later has been given to the government again to see how to right these wrongs, but they have failed once again. If a people who would clean up after themselves, make sure that the traffic is well placed, would raise their own funds, would carry out campaigns, we held hands together when the Muslims were praying. Same thing happened when the Christians were praying. For the first time in the history of our country. If a people that will do that, wouldn't it be, if I were President Buhari, I will show up at Lekki to address my children. This is what is expected. I mean, what I expect to put the balance, 1 year later, you know that these people are going to come out to do an anniversary, memorial, for the people that were killed and how they were displaced. The soldiers and the police should be the one to guide them and make sure that they are allowed to do what they need to do. They are here to protect. This is their job. Why are they giving ammunition? Why are they soldiers? Why are they police? To protect these people. But right here, like I said in Abuja, young people with clubs and knives in Secretariat came against us, and the police stood and were watching, waiting to see us killed. I gave the order and tell the people, disperse. Nigeria is not worth dying for at this point. We would live to see. So what are you talking about balance? The Nigerian state is the balance. Ensure that the people are safe. I mean, what more opportunity are we asking to be given? Everything that this government needs has been given to them. They have the power, they have everything at their disposal to ensure that balance is given. But again, like I said, black is white and white is black. That is not the case. What you would expect is that they will surround the people and allow them to carry. Buhari came out in 2014, 2015 here. Was he accosted? He came out on the street against the former administration. Was there a counter protest against them? The Jonathan administration, did they pay people to go and dislodge them?
Okay.
Okay.
Now, according to reports, the protesters in Lagos were given just 3 hours, to protest, and after that, everybody was supposed to, disperse. But the police are saying they were going beyond that time limit they were giving. That was why they were clamping down on some of these protesters. What are your thoughts about that?
Sometimes it's just almost, even in the heat of, at the height of the COVID-19, when George Floyd was killed, the entire America came out, including people like former President Barack Obama and all the people. They came out for days. So you are asking a metropolitan city like Lagos for people to gather, and you are saying we'll give you 3 hours. It's a way of saying that, the government is just saying that, okay, the best thing to do is just give them this so that they will not be able to do. Even here, how are you able to organize ourselves? On Friday, we can't even move in the city of Abuja just for prayers. On Sundays, when people gather, you cannot even move. And then you are saying you are giving them 3 hours. If the government, like I said, is just window dressing, what are they sitting down in their offices and they are in their something doing? Why can't you even allow them to have a whole day? What is the meaning of that? Let's ask ourselves. Give them 3 hours, let them go. You are looking for an excuse to say, you're looking for an excuse to kill them. This is what the government is asking for.
Now, we started with talking about about evidence of the Lekki massacre and the killings and all of that. And it seems like this is something that has gone around the whole world. That's the belief that, there was massacre in Lekki Tollgate. And, like we said, investigations are showing that there was no massacre. Are you saying you do not have confidence in the reports and the investigation that was conducted in that regard, or the panels that were set up, to investigate these issues? Like I mentioned that the legal team representing the army said that there was no petition against the Nigerian army. So is it that the people did not come forward to present their case? Or is it that the panel is not presenting, the facts of what actually happened? What exactly happened?
It's very funny, and this is what keeps going on in this country. It's like, if somebody is asking right now that, show me evidence of any police collecting bribe in this country, where do you want me to go and get the evidence from? You cause a pandemonium. You're looking for people. I mean, like I said, can they come out and say that nobody died? There are video evidence. People are missing. People have died and we have records. What they are asking for is that they want everybody to die. So the word massacre. But I'm saying that when you come out, soldiers were there, the reports are there. And today, because trust is already broken, am I to believe CNN or believe Lai Mohammed? Ask any Nigerian. Can Lai Mohammed believe himself?
So is this a product of the lack of trust in government? Is that what you are saying?
There is no trust.
Is the reality?
The reality is that people died, but you are saying people did not die. And there are videos, and there are families that have come out. And then you are saying people didn't die. So are we...
You said there are families that came out.
Yes.
But we do not have names. There were inquiries for the names of those people that were killed, and there was no response to that effect. Daily Trust, in fact, did an investigation on that and requested for names. As at yesterday, Transparency International was, asked to send names of the people that were killed in that massacre. There was no response to that effect. So how do you prove that there was indeed a massacre?
So the evidences that are there, the videos, some of the videos that are there, that some of the people that were killed, that's no evidence. That's the question I'm asking.
No, these videos could have come from anywhere.
Exactly my point.
So if the video is genuine and there's a request to submit the names of the people in that video, and nobody responded.
You believe that?
No, I'm asking you, do you now not trust the investigations? Or what exactly happened? Is it the panel that you do not trust, or is it the investigation that you do not trust? Which one of them?
So I'm asking that you are saying that those videos could have come from somewhere or anywhere.
Yes.
So that's the question I'm asking. If those videos are no evidence, what else should be the evidence? Here we are.
So are you saying we don't have what it takes to verify some of these videos that we saw come up?
I mean, the question I think is to all of us. Because if they are saying that those videos are not, nobody died, and we have evidence of videos of people who were shot. I mean, I could share the guys that survived, the ones that, you know, there's a guy who was shot right in the heart. There were people whose legs, and we have those videos. And we're saying that we don't have evidence, so I don't...
No, people died. People died. But whether they died as a result of the shooting that took place, or for some other reasons, that is entirely a different conversation. People died. But the death that was recorded, does that qualify for a massacre?
That is the point I'm saying. I'm saying that it's what massacre is when you come against 1,000 people and you shoot a barrage of soldiers and police and you shoot. That's a massacre. If you're asking for 1,000 dead bodies, then is the narrative of the rhetoric of the Nigerian state, where it doesn't matter if 12 people die in Benue or 30 people died in Jos. The Nigerian state is looking for 1 million people have died, then it will shake. Today, as we sit here, if one person dies on the road, it doesn't even make any news. People have been dying in southern countries, it doesn't even make any news. This is the danger of the narrative being driven today in Nigeria. So you want 1 million people to die before you acknowledge we have moved from humanity to inhumanity. You are saying that the 10 people that died don't matter. It's not a massacre. What we're saying is that they act. Because you could see, because we live in 21st century, with the videos flying everywhere, even the soldiers are taken aback. It's like saying that nobody was stopped yesterday in Lagos. But there are videos.
But those videos, do you agree that those videos, some of those videos, did not happen at the time of that protest? Some of those videos that went viral on social media were old videos.
I mean, you're talking about some of those videos. Of course, we live in 21st century where technology can do anything. You know, but we're talking about live videos that took place. There are videos that cannot be doctored. We're talking about live videos. Would you challenge the video of DJ Switch, of what happened right there, and some of the other videos that took place? I give you an example. I have gone on a few occasions to deliver millions of nairas to the herdsmen between Kogi and Edo State. I have done that myself. Ask me for evidence. My evidence is to bring here in the studio the people that I rescued. But here we are. I'm sitting in the studio and looking clean. Would I ever have an evidence to show you the people that I interfaced with? But I'm telling you what I did myself. I was in the bush for 7 hours. So you see, we will continue on this trajectory and this narrative until we lose our country. Is that what we are asking for? Is that what we are asking for?
So what should the government do? What should be their response, you know, to the whole ENDSARS situation?
I mean, like I'm saying, and because it's one thing, I don't hate Nigeria. The ENDSARS generation love Nigeria. They can give their life for Nigeria. And this is where also the balance needs to be drawn, to separate between the leaders and Nigeria. We don't hate Nigeria. Nigeria is the only country we have. But our leaders are somewhat clueless and irrelevant because they are not understanding how to bridge the gap. This particular leaders right now, they've been handed the greatest opportunity to move Nigeria from where it is to where it's supposed to go. An anniversary like this is taking place. And like I said, if I were the president of Nigeria, I will show up in Lagos to talk to my children. The gap will be bridged. We will go beyond just trying to masquerade whatever is happening. You know, I know, like you know, that the Nigerian security architecture is less than 1% of the total population, which means that this is the time to even recall back some of the retired people, because Nigeria essentially is at war with what is happening. The fact that I can't travel from here, I mean, to even Kaduna, people can't even travel to Kaduna right here. We can't move around Nigeria. It tells you that we're living in a very dangerous time. And I'm saying that this generation can actually help this particular government to fix it. This is time to recruit in mass, you know, some of these young people, get them into strategic, you know, deliberations and conversations to see how we can bring an end to this. I mean, we're asking, here we are in Abuja where PAMSECs own chains of hotels everywhere. Go to Gwarimpa, 5,000 housing units just lying there, waste, with nobody. You are living side by side where people, young educated people can't even afford a one room contained, and then you are here with 5,000 housing units empty. This is what the ENDSARS generation is saying. How much do you need? One person has billions of naira. So the ENDSARS protest is not just about police brutality. Oh no, it's police brutality. It's, how do I put it? It's just a metaphor. We're saying that we want an overhaul. We need a total change. This is 21st century where, as an environmentalist, every bush in Nigeria, by satellite, we can locate all the people causing mayhem in this country. We're asking for a digitalized leadership. We're asking for a Nigeria that can be, every state capital in Nigeria can be like Dubai, because we have what it takes. We are so rich. What is happening? Look at Zamfara. Zamfara probably has more gold than South Africa and Ghana put together. I am an environmentalist. Nickel in Kaduna State is about the purest in the whole world. This belt called the middle belt of Nigeria can fill the entire Africa. And yet we have young, able-bodied people who are doing nothing. It's just a gap. There's so much energy. This is why we have the banditry and the Boko Haram and people. This energy cannot be destroyed and it cannot be created. It can only be converted from one point to another. And I'm saying to this government that we need to convert this energy into useful and usable product. Because if you don't, it will either destroy or it will build. And this government have been given, this ENDSARS generation are awake. Use them. So they are begging to be used. So do we say the ENDSARS generation is begging to involve youth in governance? This is exactly what it is. It has even gone beyond. It has shown you a pilot scheme by looking after themselves, raising their own funds. By now, in a society that is very progressive, you will even find out what is the ingenuity. How are you able, instead of blocking even their channels of raising funds, you should use them, because that's where the world is going. Everything that they've done is to harness it, is to take advantage of it. They are asking, I mean, look at what we're asking. We're on the street and saying, you police people, you should be paid better. I sit here, my father is a retired police officer. My immediate younger brother is a police officer, whom I gave the house I built 25 years ago, because he can't even afford. So this is no rhetoric, this is life. Okay, now talking about police welfare, we've seen, you know, the brutality that happened yesterday. And it seems like the police are not in line with the demands the ENDSARS is making on their behalf. This is the rhetoric I'm talking about. So if I say certain things here now, I could be held accountable. But when we are in the Unity Fountain and in the fields, these police people, they come to us and say, guys, thank you for what you're doing. You are the ones that can do this for us. We are really suffering. And then I can be held to say, give me the names, so they can be sacked. Can we go beyond this? Because this is our country. What we are asking, the ENDSARS generation is asking that let's fix this country for all of us. So you're asking me to now give you names of the police officer that spoke to me as an evidence to show that they are aggrieved?
All right, now, you know, you talk so well about the ENDSARS protest, you know, and all of that. There are those who disagree that, you know, this ENDSARS thing, they are just a bunch of troublemakers, people who just don't want peace. You know, they are just, you know, after political actors and all of that. And so it's not a cause that should be allowed to be run. And of course, if you look at what they are saying, some of them, there are some elements of truth, because like you talk about the ENDSARS, not everybody, you know, that supports the movement or that show up, you know, for that protest actually share some of the genuine concerns that you have raised, you know, as a Nigerian. So how do you deal with this, you know, dynamics?
I mean, it's crazy, and it's good that we're having this discussion. I mean, we are tagged the most religious nation on the earth, right? But look at the narrative and the stories from our churches and our mosques. Who are the criminal elements and the scammers that we have today? Are the religious leaders, in quote, who have subjected, pulverized, suppressed some of their leaders with all kinds of things, sleeping with members and doing all kinds of things. Because whatever you say, whether you talk about our political circles, we have sycophants, people who do not even understand policy, much less attending to legal matters, are the ones sitting in a house of reps and legislations and in states house of assemblies. This is what we have. So we have charlatans and people who have no business and have no understanding in, when I talk about our religious group or our political parties, or even people who don't, Nigerians, we don't even have a banking system. And what I mean by that is very simple. We don't even have, Nigeria does not even have a security policy. I'm not talking about strategic data and stuff. We don't. It is out of housing policy that every Libyan, during the late Muammar Gaddafi, once you are 21, you have a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom house to yourself, out of that policy. But look at us today. So whether you talk about religious, to the polity, to governance, we have charlatans everywhere. So there is no doubt that people who are not supposed to be where they are supposed to be will always take advantage. It's about, it comes back to what? Values orientation. So yes, there are people who wouldn't agree with what the ENDSARS stands for, because again, there is no doubt, you cannot remove from it. Whatever is good, you have people that would go in and make sure they mess it up, you know. And so we have them from all over. But this is where, because everything rises and falls on what? On leadership. I was in Rwanda shortly after the genocide. We carried out a lot of campaigns. We helped the restoration to what Rwanda is today. Paul Kagame, who shut down about 600 churches. You know, last week, I was in touch with some of these people. Now we have healthier religious bodies, even in Rwanda. But if you raise that in Nigeria, they will tell you. Somebody is sitting down wondering, you're talking about this governance because it's a Muslim that is ruling, or it's Muhammadu Buhari that is ruling. So we have parochial mindsets everywhere. People who cannot see beyond their ethnic agenda, their political party leanings, their religious affiliations. We have them everywhere. But the leadership that will take Nigeria from where it is right now to the next level is a leadership that is above all of these rhetorics. And I am telling you that the ENDSARS generation represents that particular, you know, leadership. And this is what we're asking for. The way forward is values orientation that will allow to fixing the polity. Because politics, governance determine everything. Our death dates, our birth dates, even for you to set up your religious organization, you have to be registered. So governance is everything. So our governance has to be fixed. The reason why we're having all of this insecurity, we're having the ENDSARS agitation, we're having the agitation in the West and in the East and everywhere, it's because we have what? A gap in our leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. You fix the leadership of Nigeria today, we'll have peace, unity, and progress.
Okay, well, quite insightful thoughts.
Interesting, yeah, really. We have to end the discussion at this point. It's been very, very interesting having you talk about these issues and giving us, perspectives, to the whole conversation about the hashtag ENDSARS protest. We've been speaking with Moses Paul, PhD, also known as Dr. Madmo, and he's in the studio talking to us about the aftermath of the ENDSARS protest.